Cashomaniacs.
GeoGearHeads.
Welcome to the 186th regular installment of the GeoGearHeads. This happens to be our 35th Randomize episode. I'm the bad cop with Daryl W4 as usual, but we have guests with us tonight. First, we have Michael Miller. We have Scott Burks. We very possibly have Mark Dowding. And, Daryl, can you believe it's been 9 weeks since we did our last Randomize show?
Yeah, but we won't be waiting so long for the next one. It's just 2 weeks away. But let's start off tonight's Randomize show with a little bit from each of the guests and their current shows. Now, Mark, we hope is going to show up, but, you know, it's like really, really early in the morning, and I don't know if maybe his alarm didn't go off. But hopefully he'll be joining us. So let's start off the introductions with Michael Miller.
Well, my name is Michael, and I live here in Florida. And this is my second appearance on the GeoGearHeads. I'm sure everybody remembers the first one because it was kind of the Marcel Marceau version. You could just see me, no audio whatsoever. Everything's fine. Nothing's burning this time. And you can check me out at cashandrelease.com.
Yeah, great show. And we certainly hope that we won't have any burning PCs this time, because that's not pleasant at all.
It's a giant paper.
There's a shot for that now, isn't there, Drew?
No, not yet.
I think it's legal in Washington State.
Shot of penicillin cleaned that right up, didn't it?
But Michael,
so
you
many
sound
Microsoft
much better
jokes
than
to
you
make.
did last time.
What's that?
You sound much better than you did last time.
Well, you know, when you think your laptop's going to erupt in fire and you have no way of telling your wife, it's a little, disconcerting. Yeah, absolutely. It takes your focus away immediately.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, my. Well, we already heard from Scott Burks, but Scott, why don't you give us a little bit about your shows and all that kind of stuff?
Okay. I am currently on the Geocaching podcast on Wednesday nights, and it's geocachingpodcast.com. For 4 years, I was on the Chicago Geocacher podcast with Walt Grogan. That's chicagogeocacher.com.
And you might also recognize Scott from a couple of his previous appearances, including a couple of those patron specials. And, of course, we used to co-host together on the Geocaching podcast.
Yes, I've been on this show many times. Too many to count, I think.
I'm sure we could go back and count if you really wanted to.
I think it's over 4. I know that. It's gotta be.
No, I know it's definitely over 4. And
almost
if
a
you
whole
count the
handful.
patrons editions as separate shows, including the special one that we did while you were here, I think we're actually into double digits.
That's no guest should be in double digits. I can't come on your show anymore.
Well, Scott, it's been nice having you. We're sorry you have to leave.
You guys, thanks for having me. Again.
All right. Well, our live question tonight, so, this is just for those of you watching live, is actually about Scott and, what you're going to be doing. So let's get to that question. And only those of you watching and listening to the live recording are going to be able to do this. So get your email ready, titled Randomize35, address it to geogearheads@cashmaniacs.com. In the body, include your geocaching screen name, and tell us in what city you'll be able to watch Scott and Walt record a special edition of their Chicago Geocacher podcast this August. They'll be doing that actually at the West Bend Cache Bash, right?
Yes, me and Walt will be live on the stage in Regner Park, 10 a.m. Saturday. That's, I think, the 8th, right? It's Saturday the 8th?
Sounds right, but I don't have the calendar up to check.
Yeah. Per usual, that's where we've been the past 4 years, at the 10 a.m. slot on the main stage.
All right, but that's all we're going to give you as a clue for this live question, maybe aside from the graphic that's on the screen. So have that Randomize 35 email to us by 9:45 Eastern Daylight Time. That's 6:45 Pacific tonight, which is Thursday, July 23rd. So if you're listening to this later, doesn't work. And that's for a chance at a beautiful GeoCoin donated by Dr. Kashenstein. So good luck, and that's the second prize we're giving away this week. Before you get to that first prize, Bad Cop, would you do the honor of reading the feedback we got from a author?
Only after I say Dr. Kashenstein one more time.
That-
Okay.
That's the greatest name ever, isn't it? That's one of the greats. It literally is one of the greats.
But you have to say it with drama in it. Dr. Kashenstein.
It needs music after it, like dun dun dun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, Scott, who do you have to bribe to get the 10 a.m. time slot at the West Bend Cash Bash?
I don't know. You know, it's the first one they gave us, and like we really go for that slot mainly because the show's usually an hour and a half or 2 hours, and we don't want to if we do it at like noon, it's right in the middle of the day. If we figure 10 a.m. we could start drinking because it's it's not 6 in the morning or 8 in the morning, so you could drink at 10 a.m. and you have to drink. That's one of the rules of being there. And 2 is that it doesn't impede with caching. You may be a little liquored up, but you can still go out caching. You still have the whole day to cache. So that's why we do the 10 a.m. slot.
Just as long as you're not driving.
No. You walk gingerly through the woods until you sober up after the show.
There you go. Nothing like a good walk through the woods. Now,
or drive down the bike path.
Right?
Ooh.
But we do share with anybody who goes there and you walk up to us. We will give you a beer. We do share. It's not like we don't hog it. It's everybody's drinking. It's a big party.
Yeah, and I can attest to that because I've been there and had the free beer.
You have, yes. And I think didn't you drop an F-bomb right there too in Regner Park one day?
Oh yes, I think
more than
Scott,
live on air. I got him to drop an F-bomb.
Scott, I got to tell you, I was talking to Craig Farrell from West Bend, and I was talking to him yesterday, and I'm looking through the pages for Cash Bash, and I see your picture. I said, hey, is that Scott Burks over there? And he's like, yeah. And I said, he's got beer and he's podcasting? And he's like, yeah, he sure is. And I said, how do I get in on this? And he said, well, if you want to come next year, I said, I want to sit third chair over there. I'll bring a cooler and I'll sit next with.
I don't think there's even drinking allowed in Regner Park. They just make a special occasion for us, And people literally, one year somebody brought us a case of beer. It was fantastic. A cold case of beer. It was awesome.
You had me at beer.
It's great. It's a lot of fun. It's a party. It's a lot of fun.
Do you want to put in your requisite plug for Supper Club?
Always, somebody has to bring the Supper Club on ice. That's a rule. Me and Walt don't start till somebody brings a Supper Club on ice.
I just learned. I thought you were calling it Supper Club.
It is Supper Club.
I didn't realize it was the actual name of the beer. I thought it was a name that you had come up with.
No, that's the real beer, Supper Club. That was and it's made in Wisconsin too. Actually, you can get it on tap in Wisconsin.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I've looked for it locally, and I can't get it around here.
No, the only place I can get it here in Chicago is Binny's. That's it. Try a Binny's. Do you have Binny's out there?
Nope, no Binnies.
Oh, then I don't know where you'd even find it.
I'm just SOL.
You got to be like the bandit and drive down to Wisconsin and get a couple cases and drive back up.
I just need to go to West Bend, and then I can grab the beer and a bunch of caches.
Right, and get back in 24 hours.
Yeah, I think it's a little longer than that for me. I want to say when I did the drive, it was something like 14 hours.
West Bend was 14 hours for you?
That can't be right, can it?
Heck no.
It's about 5-6 hours to your place, and it's about an hour and a half from there.
Like an hour and a half,
yeah.
How many supper clubs did you have before doing the math?
You know what? That it's probably 14 hours with the caches in between.
I was gonna say, unless I mean,
that will do it.
Well, when me and Jesse went and saw Daryl, we drove home Sunday. It took us 17 hours to get home. 17 hours.
I can believe it because Jesse probably wanted to stop at each and every one of those caches that might fill in her Jasmer.
Her head explodes if we drove by a cache.
Or her fizzy.
I just want to let you know, I'm looking on Google. From West Bend to Detroit, 6 hours, 20 minutes. Right underneath it says if you're a geocacher, 27 hours. So there you go.
It is a fantastic time, though. It's a lot of fun going to West Bend. Definitely worth it.
Early on in my caching career, it would take me 14 hours just to go up to the store and back. Hey, let me go get that for you, honey. No, I will go to the store.
Yeah,
Stay here.
Speaking of that, tomorrow is my cache-anniversary. Tomorrow.
Is it really?
Wow.
Yes,
How
July
many
24th.
years?
Today's the 23rd, right? Is today the 23rd?
Today is actually the 23rd.
July 24th is my cache-anniversary. It'll be 8 years tomorrow. I got my first cache.
So
What
it
do
would
you-
have been
what do you get
yesterday
on
when
8
this
years?
actually hits a feed.
Actually, today I DNF'd 3 caches. 8 years ago. I found my first one, I think, a day after I went and tried to find one. I didn't find any the day I went out, the first day I went out.
So don't find any tomorrow, just to celebrate.
Right, there you go.
I have to remember to get one. Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me. I got to go check my my profile page and see when my first find was, because it's coming up next month, and that's going to be my 10-year.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. I did 10 years of podcasting back in March, and then 10 years of geocaching in August.
Right, because your first podcast was that bike one, right?
Yeah. I did 2 years of the bike show, and then I switched to a geocaching show.
The brutal bike one.
The brutal bike.
I'm going to have to look for that one.
Daryl, welcome to my bike show.
I've got a link somewhere posted on the Cachemaniacs feed, I think, when that happened. But it's still out there. If you go to archive.org and search for Michigan Cycling Podcast, episode 1 is up there.
And there's only one episode.
No,
there's more than one.
They weren't numbered like that. They were, I think they were by date, because it was a weekly show for part of the year and a monthly show for the other part, because it's Michigan. Nothing much happens up here for cyclists in the winter.
No. Then you're going to the snowmobiles.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Well, now the big thing, we are so off topic here, but now the big thing is the fat tire bikes, and they do those all winter long, especially like on the trails.
Uh-huh.
I kind of really want to try that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine geocaching in the middle of winter on a bike trail, doing a power trail, where the caches are hung in the trees every 10th of a mile?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
On a fat tire bike.
Well, we know what Scott's doing this winter.
Yeah, on a fat tire bike, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I saw somebody driving a fat tire bike like in the summer. I'm like, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just saw someone doing that today. I'm like, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, happy cash anniversary to me tomorrow. 8 years. I can't believe it's been 8 years.
What is that, paper for the 8th anniversary?
You got to print out your cache descriptions that you're going to go find.
So I have to do a letterbox, basically, is what you're telling me.
There you go.
Print out the letterbox, and I gotta go find it.
I think next year's silver, so you got something to look forward to.
I'm getting there. All right, continue with the with the email. Sorry.
Let's jump to like paragraph 2 in the show notes here. We have email feedback from the Rat, also known as Russ Atkinson. He said, I really enjoyed your Ingress show. That was episode 163. I don't play Ingress, but I had seen enough teasers to know or about it to make it look interesting. So I was thinking about maybe doing it. I first went to the official Ingress.com website and watched 3 separate videos there, or on YouTube about getting started. I was frustrated because they never said how to get started despite being described that way. It was hype, largely like geocaching, which appeals to me. I know some geocachers who do Ingress. The videos mentioned seeking portals and using your GPS to find them, and staying tuned to fancy computer graphics to show statues turning green or blue as a slinky actress stood in front. They all went on how to play, but not how to get started. Imagine my frustration when after half an hour of this I still didn't know how to begin. I figured there must be some hardware or software required, but not one of those videos mentioned either. I have 3 different GPS units, both Garmin and Magellan, 4 if you count the one in the car, but nothing said which brand or model would work. There was no link to install Ingress on my desktop computer. Finally, I decided to check Wikipedia, and only then did I discover that Ingress requires a smartphone. Why didn't any of the videos for beginners mention that? So I read the entry there, and it said it was designed for Android systems. I understand that it's also available for iPhones now, too. But I don't have a smartphone, just a flip phone. I do have an Android mini tablet called a Pronto Tech. Wasn't a Pronto Pup like a...
The hot dog place?
Yeah, corn dog. There you go. It's like the corn dog of
corn dog of smartphone
of Android tablets. Yeah.
That's a marketing idea right there.
That's a genius
Some
idea.
marketing genius.
Boom! I'll sell 1 million of them right there. It's like the Coney dog, the Coney Island dog of Android smartphones.
Oh,
that's top tier right there.
Okay.
All right, continue with this
Back to that.
thesis
That
you wrote.
the Pronto Tech, however, does not have a GPS, and it's 200 powered to even read email with. So I knew that wouldn't work. However, I'm planning to buy a Kindle Fire soon. I know those are Android based, so I was thinking I finally might be able to join the game.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to your show to learn more. You made it sound really fun. Thank you. I was getting enthused. Oh, Daryl, we have an enthused listener.
Even better, he's an enthused author.
Oh, that's right. I think we've euthanized listeners, but I don't think we've enthused them.
We know Daryl has.
Okay.
Thanks, God. GeoGearHeads, the Dr. Kevorkian of podcasts.
People are dying to listen.
Nothing puts people to sleep quicker than the GeoGearHeads podcast.
Hey, that's our demographic, is cashers who can't sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you hit a niche.
Oh, okay.
Continue.
Back to Russ's email. Then, at 40 minutes in, you were the first and only ones to mention that not only it requires a smartphone.
Hold on. 40 minutes into this email or 40 minutes into the show?
A little of both. I think it was 40 minutes into the show that he was enthused
Sorry.
about.
All right. I couldn't let that go by. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You mentioned not only it requires a smartphone, but a data plan. Oops, I don't have one.
What? Wait, what?
Well, you wouldn't on a flip phone. You don't necessarily need a data plan.
That's right. So he doesn't have a smartphone. He doesn't have a smartphone. Doesn't have a tablet.
Right. Or a data plan.
It doesn't. It's only. It's not a computer, right? It's only on a smartphone. Or I mean, I have no idea. I don't even know.
Smartphone or tablet.
Okay.
So
Ingress is the Portal game, right? That
Right.
crazy Portal one that Daryl geeks out over, right?
right.
Hey, I don't geek out over it all that much anymore.
Don't lie. All right.
No.
Okay. Are you over it?
I was, but I'm
forced
kind
it?
of back into it after doing that show, to be honest. And
Sucked
the
you
worst
right
part,
back in.
now my girlfriend's into it too.
Oh God, you suckered her into it too.
Uh-huh.
Well, and after this,
Wait, I don't know
who
what-
wouldn't want to be in it.
I don't want to know what you and your girlfriend are into. What kind of show are we doing here?
What
I'll
is
tell you the
Ingress
dog
exactly? What is this thing?
So you did listen to episode 163.
I absolutely did not.
So no Ingress for you.
I saw. I was telling Daryl. I saw what it was about when it downloaded into my iTunes, and I went delete.
Wait a minute,
Daryl,
wasn't
the Ingress
that you
Nazi.
two?
Yeah. Daryl, the Ingress Nazi, says no Ingress for you.
No Ingress for you.
Okay, let's get back to what Russ was saying. He says the Kindle I was planning to buy only uses Wi-Fi. Not only that, but since I have discovered that even though Kindle Fires use Android, you're not allowed to install apps from Google's Play Store, or whatever you call it, only from Amazon's App Store, due to the rivalry between those companies. I don't have a data plan or a smartphone, nor do I have any use for one. I can't see buying all that hardware and data plan just to try out this one game. I think I would enjoy it,
It's not that fun. It's really not that fun.
but that's a big investment for a pig and a poke,
Exactly.
and I might not like it.
Here, I'll sing to you. Let it go. Let it go. Sorry.
Oh, Scott, you have children, don't you?
Just let it go, man. It's not that fun. Even Daryl.
Well, hold on, though.
Oh,
listen,
sorry.
Listen to what Russ said about Daryl and I. You did a great job of selling the game.
Oh,
See?
there you go. That's all you. That's not Daryl. That's all you.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow.
I just want to say I just want to say really quickly. I'm reading ahead, and I think you guys lost a listener. I'm just saying. And for those of you listening, wait for it. You'll understand why.
I think I would enjoy it, but I think it would have been much better if you mentioned right at the beginning that it requires a smartphone or tablet and data plan, and not all smartphones, even Android ones, can use the app. If you do another English show, which is suggested by Roman numeral 1 for this one, I recommend you mention that right at the beginning. Neither Google nor Niantic.
What the hell's Niantic?
Niantic is, I clutched there in my voice, is the division of Google that makes
Ingress.
Ingress. Thank you. What are we talking about?
Sounds like medicine, doesn't it? Sounds like.
I thought
Did you take your syrup
Give me
of
2
Niantic?
teaspoons of Niantic, please.
No, I'm sorry. I can't today. I'm Niantic.
Oh.
My Niantic is acting up.
Isn't that a step beyond gigantic? It's Niantic.
Oh my God, it's Niantic. Look at that thing.
I think Viagra's using that word now.
Oh, sorry.
Daryl, did you ever realize inviting us on it was going to turn into the non-geocaching show today?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, we may just get through this one email and be done.
Yeah, I'm getting that feeling.
Moving on to the patron show.
Okay. Russ goes on to say, this isn't meant to be a criticism.
Right? Yes, it is.
Since it was an entertaining show all the way through. But just to point out that not all geocachers or other listeners have smartphones and tablets, even some of those that have the Microsoft phone, the Kindle Fire, etc.
Nobody has a Microsoft phone.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Mark's son has one.
Daryl
can get that
has
for
a
free.
Microsoft phone.
Well, I do have a Microsoft phone. I just never use it.
Do you have a Zune that goes with that?
No. But hey, if someone were to offer me a Zune, I would put it up on the shelf back here just to prove that they did actually make
in
an
his
ugly device.
Nerdatorium he's got going.
Oh, yeah.
You have to get the Zune in brown.
Yes.
They offered it in brown.
Yes.
That's the only color
Is
of
it
the
like
Zune.
poop brown or is it
Oh,
like?
it was.
Pretty much, yeah.
Is it
It looked like a poop-covered MP3 player.
really?
Why brown?
Well done.
I'm gonna find one for you, Daryl.
Okay.
Please.
eBay.
He's searching eBay right now.
eBay.
Crap.
In
brown.
eBay, won't they pay you $5 to take the Zune off their hands?
I was going to say, I thought you had to list it as a recycling, $5 to recycle it.
Free shipping though.
Wow.
Okay, Russ goes on to say, I've used this term a lot. This phrase. Russ goes on to say,
continues.
if the game ever evolves to the point where it could be played using a GPS unit along with some desktop software, I'd really like to know. Or even if it could be played with a website and Wi-Fi, possibly even an app that works on new model GPS unit. It seems to me the best way to check it out is for people who already have smartphones and data plans, who can download it for free and try it for a bit.
All right, quick thing. Because of its live interactive nature, because you actually will get into battles, it's not something that you're going to be able to do offline ever. So you are going to need that.
Right. Now, there is one thing. If you have a tablet without a data plan, or a phone, an iPod, whatever, you could sit in a coffee shop near a portal, hack it, and play the game to some extent.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a very good experience if you don't have the GPS, but it's,
Right.
all of the Android and iOS devices will use Wi-Fi to figure out its location to some extent. So you'll still be able to play. Actually, you know what? I'm not sure that that's true,
you
because I
can.
think they lock it out
Oh, I was gonna say,
if you don't have a GPS.
Can you get
No,
like
my son.
Can you get an iPhone 3 for like a penny and like play it on?
Yeah,
that?
but the iPhone 3 won't work. It has to be an iPhone 4S or higher. Actually, I think they might have even locked out the 4S. I think you might need a 5 now.
No, well, I'll say even the 4S I think is a penny too. Isn't that like really cheap now? Like just,
Yeah,
like, giving
they're
them
a
away?
little bit more than that, but not by much.
I just
My
like
son-
to. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
Sorry, my son plays it on an iPod. No GPS, so it works.
But that's tethered to your phone, isn't it? To your
Probably.
Okay. Now here's a tip that I was just about to mention. If you do use like iOS, and you're using like a what's that cheap one called that was just updated? The iPod Touch. If you're using an iPod Touch tethered either to an iPad or to an iPhone, it actually shares the location from the iPhone or iPod or iPad that's hosting it with the other device. So it's a cheap way for your kids to play along with you.
Mm-hmm. Or you could just beat up your kids for playing that.
Try board
Hey,
games.
That
Stick with
also
board
works for
games.
caching.
Pick up a goddamn mitt, you little nerd.
The other thing that we probably should mention is the Fire OS, which is what's actually on those Kindles, is based on Android, but it is not Android. It's missing a lot of the functions of Android. They've replaced it with their own APIs and their own stuff. So that's why you have those issues. If you actually you can take your Android app and update it essentially to work with Fires, with Kindles. But they have their own regulations and stuff. They're trying to do it more like Apple does with their App Store, where they're actually regulating what has to be done to make sure that every Kindle Fire is supported if your app is in there. And that's actually causing a lot of trouble for developers right now. So there are a lot of apps that were available in the Amazon store that are disappearing, and the reason is because they're mandating that your app has to be compatible with those original Kindle Fires, and that doesn't work much anymore because those things are, by today's standard, really underpowered.
That's true.
I would like to offer some advice here.
Oh, please.
I feel like I need to throw in.
Dr. Michael, we're listening.
Russ, I would suggest you go out to YouTube and watch Will Wheaton's Tabletop, and you'll get some great ideas for games that don't require a data plan whatsoever.
Right.
That's just my 2 cents.
Can I offer my advice for what it's worth? It's 2015, Brad. Time to get a smartphone. Look it up. They're not going away. Concede, dude. Concede. Let it go.
Right. By the way, Land Monkey says that this is Professor Wanberg's Nerdatorium.
It is. Look at back there. It's your little nerdatorium in there.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
All right, anything else? Are we done with that email? Or are we still
No,
going?
Well,
not
no,
quite.
it goes on. He says, on a separate note,
If we
he is an
continue.
author, by the way.
So he's a bit wordy? Is that what you're saying?
Well, and Russ, thank you so much for writing.
Wordy
It does bring up really good points. It doesn't. I think the videos all show it playing on a smartphone, but doesn't say it requires one. So he says, on a separate note, thanks for offering up my book, Gut Shot, on last week's show as a prize. You even showed the cover. I look forward to seeing who wins it.
Well, I've got some good news for you, Russ. The lucky winner.
It's the only good news we have for Russ this episode.
No, I've got 2 pieces of information. One, the winner is Questmark, so he's getting a copy of Gut Shot, which you donated, which I think is very cool. And I managed to find a Zune on eBay for $40.
$40.
I'm not paying $40 for a Zune. I may pay like the $5 for shipping.
Is
but
it
I'm not paying
is it
for
crap brown or is it what color is it?
Oh no, it's brown, 30 gigabyte.
Can I get a screenshot, please? Can you please put it up on your screen, please? Do you know how to do that? I want to
Oh
see the crap
no,
brown.
how do I do that? I would love to show you guys.
Green arrow out of the screen to screen share.
Oh, man, okay. Let's see. I made sure to turn my porn off. Hold on. Can you guys see that?
We can.
Hold on. I'm not there yet. Hold on, Mike. That is poop.
Look at that.
Wow.
$40.99.
People bought that?
Oh, hey, there's one
yeah.
for $35.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Only $35, eh?
And Daryl, 2 days left. I'd watch that.
Ooh, I don't think that's gonna last.
Somebody needs to buy that for Daryl. I want to see a poop brown Zune in his back. In his
In my back?
Wow.
You would
not
bet
in
it?
his bag, behind him, on display. A poop
I
brown
think you're
Zune.
taking the wearables a little too
Oh.
far, Scott.
I feel like I've got to send that to you.
All right,
So-
Scott.
But the question wasn't which GeoGear. So the question was which GeoGearHeads episode did Russ appear? So that answer was episode 163, Ciphers 1.
Yeah, that's another one of those past episodes with some great information, and you'll want to check that out if you haven't already. But again, congrats, Quester Mark. I have your address because you won last week's drawing too, so I'll get that out to you shortly.
I think
There's
something's
one
rigged
in a
here.
row. That's
No, I promise nothing's rigged, but we do seem to have a lot of people winning multiple times lately.
You gotta cut them out. Like you can't win twice in a row.
Yeah, there you go. You can only win once a month.
Well, I'm thinking we just need more people to enter because
How
this
many
time
people did we have enter last week, Daryl?
we only had a dozen people. Only a dozen, and went and submitted.
See,
Really?
so if you come and enter more, we get more people entering. Wow, Scott,
More people.
we get more people in the contest.
Sorry, I don't think you realize what you just said.
This
Yeah.
show just
No,
went
not until you
explicit.
started laughing.
Sorry.
Oh. But speaking of contests, just put in a plug for Caching in the Northwest. We're coming up on the end of our July contest of hashtag geocache road trip. Just take a picture of yourself geocaching, somehow insert hashtag geocache road trip into the picture, enter it, and we've got more gifts than we have people that have entered right now. We've just been inundated with all these great prizes. So
give me an example. Make it worth it. Give me an example. What's the gift?
What do you mean?
Give me an example of a gift.
Oh, a gift. Well,
Yeah,
we got coins
see.
from coinsandpins.com.
So it's just coins. That's all it is. What's the big gift?
No, what's the big gift?
Yeah,
60
everybody's got a big
gigabytes,
gift.
yeah.
Come on.
Well, Poop Brown Zune.
Yeah. But it's 60
30 or
gigabytes.
60 gig, dude.
See,
30 or 60.
I can't submit
I mean-
because I'm actually one of the judges.
So we've got, bunches of coins from coinsandpins.com. We've got things from Munzie. We've got a bunch of Munzies to get
What the
rid of.
hell's a
Are you-
Munzie?
Well, it's like Ingress, but, it's not because you don't play it. We've got gift certificates from Cache Advance, from World Caching. It just goes on and on.
Uh-huh. What about a date with Chris Umfenauer? Can I get that?
Ooh, baby.
No,
No?
other people might, but you're not.
Fair enough. Touche.
Oh, Scott, you just got turned down by Chris.
What
Can I
did
get-
Shorty
Can I
Nick
get a
say?
date with Land Monkey?
Ooh,
Land
that would be
Monkey's
awesome.
on. Let's see what he says.
He's in the live Q&A, so he probably will tell us. Well, let's move on to some feedback from a fish out of water, who said that a coworker helped start the OmniCorp hackspace in Detroit, which I've actually heard of. She said that they toured it as a group back in 2014, and it's fabulous. He brings a unique perspective to work, and he was a guiding drive to our team getting their 3D printer for mechanical prototypes to work. So there you go. Another excuse to get into a hackspace is, hey, it might be good for your career.
For your career?
Well, not mine, because, it's
You
me.
work?
I do work.
All right, just making sure.
Oh, Land Monkey says hashtag geocaching road trip, best contest ever. Oh, and he also says that it has that you guys have the How to Puzzle Cache book from
Yes, there you go.
Child of Adam going out.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to know, is there a website for the contest for caching in the Northwest? Of course there is. It's cachingnw.com/contest.
Mm-hmm. Can I upload my photo there?
Yes.
Nice. Ooh.
No, not actually there. You email it. Go read the rule.
Ooh.
Scott, you're not allowed to use a public forum.
You have to send it to us. We've got to look at it privately before we allow it out into the public forum.
But Land Monkey says that, Scott, you can win a date with Land Monkey, no expenses paid, and you have to be in Vancouver.
Big guy.
Nice.
Big
All
guy.
right. Winning. Hashtag winning.
Oh. Okay.
Hey, we're through two emails so far.
2 emails now.
Yes. Well, we have another email coming up. This one isn't quite as long. This one's from Mav Eju.
Just give me a chance.
Mm-hmm. At Jew.
J-U, okay.
I'm
I
trying to see if it's. I'm trying to see if it's spelling something dirty or not, like Mav at Jew. Mav at Jew. Mav. It's not becoming a word to me.
E-T is and in French, so I think it's Mav and Jew. I don't know,
Okay.
I don't know. Maverick and Juju.
I think it's something anti-Semitic if you're asking me personally.
Ooh. You go there, don't you?
I went there. Sure did.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, these fine people write.
The
And
Nazi rights.
These, I'm sure, Jew-loving people, not the anti-Semites that you've made them out to be, wrote. I thought. Oh man. There's another listener we've lost. Okay.
I'm just checking them off my list. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Scott just sabotaged the show.
Yeah. Oh, Scott, when can we get on your show?
For my final time on GeoGearHeads.
They wrote,
I think
I have thought about making one of these reverse caches myself, but was wondering how the good people from Groundspeak would like or dislike and allow them. Do you have any information about that? If worse comes to worse, I could always publish it via geocaching.com.au. So we did get feedback, this time from Rock Chalk at Geocaching HQ. So there's certainly no rule against them, and I wouldn't say we dislike them. They do, however, require a lot of thought and planning by the CO, and generally some back and forth with the reviewer. It's tough to find a safe place for a reverse cache box to live, while at the same time making sure it's available enough for cachers to pursue. So there you go.
Well, I kind of wonder if he's thinking of the original thought behind the reverse geocaches was it was a gift given to someone and they had to figure out where to unlock it that was like miles and miles away.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to list it on geocaching.com or any other listing service for that matter, it has to be a cache at a physical location where you pick up that box and it's handled like as a multi-cache or as an unknown cache type.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably go for the unknown cache type on geocaching, but it's not going to be something that you can give to someone and have them log. Although that might work on the open caching network as the moving cache type. It wouldn't work just about anywhere else I can think of.
No, they archived those. They had those a while ago. I mean, even before I started, they had. I mean, we have a couple in Bussy Woods where it has to stay within Bussy Woods, but you can move it anywhere in Bussy Woods. It's actually pretty cool. But then you have to update the cords, and so the cache is constantly moving around Bussy Woods. It's pretty cool.
Right. But opencaching.com or .us rather, the Open Caching North America and most of the other Open Caching nodes do actually still support the moving caches.
Really?
So you could actually do it there, and we actually talked about that last year. It was Chris that you had one of those, or was it 2 years ago now?
Geo Woodstock. So 2 years ago.
No, it was like a year and a half ago. That was last year's Geo Woodstock.
Yeah, just
so
finished.
It's about 14 months ish.
Okay.
Yeah, and I brought that back here and passed it off to one of the local cachers who actually does use open caching, and I don't know what happened to it ever since.
That was
I looked at it not too long ago, and I didn't notice any movement after it left your hands, Daryl.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's because it's on Daryl's kitchen counter.
I think it's behind him on the shelf.
No. That would actually be a pretty good idea. I'll see if I can't get it back and put it up there.
Okay. At least it'll be seen more.
Email.
More email. This time it's from Wet Coaster, who's on my side of the continent. I realize this is a very East Coast heavy cast tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you're heavy.
I appreciate that.
You're my brother. Okay.
I knew that was coming.
Hey, I only have bad puns. Just groan and move on.
He's the bad cop.
Yes. Okay. Wet Coaster says, my wife and I recently completed an intercache. That's GC4V1.
Z.
I'm sorry, Z. Yeah. Let me start over.
Please.
GC4Z1VA. I was trying to not to be Canadian and say Z there. It really confused me.
Well, you didn't throw an A in, so it's okay.
Yeah, okay. It's shown as a puzzle cache. This is the first one I've seen like that. Do you have any experience with caches done this way? Now, Michael or Scott, do you know what an intercache is? And Scott, stay with caching on this one.
I do not know what an intercache is. I don't think. I mean, unless it's called something else that I'm not aware of.
No. We talked about it a while ago, Scott, but none of them were available.
See that Scott never listens to the show.
Yeah, no. We had a
show?
conversation
Which
about it. I think at West Bend when I was out there.
We talked about intercaches?
Yeah, because it was new, and we were talking about it as maybe being the replacement for Where I Goes.
What is it? Remind me.
It's first, Michael, do you know what it is?
I don't. I'm actually on the webpage though, looking at it. So, but I
still doesn't know.
I didn't want to come across and act like I knew about it, so I wanted to put that there. But
Yeah.
I am reading ahead at this point.
Yeah, you were kind of interested in it because it is Scott, you were pretty interested because it was a web-based solution that actually had the navigation and everything through the web page.
Oh, yes, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yes, that was
So
a
it-
long time ago. God.
Yeah, it kind of predated the lab caches, but the lab caches were out right about the same time, I think.
Mhm.
So it's not like one was copying from the other, but it is sanctioned by Groundspeak, we'll say. Not necessarily, they have no problem with it, but it's a very interesting alternative that's you can actually author from like your smartphone right in the field. We did a show with them way back when. Haven't done anything in a long time, so it might be time to get them back on the show to talk about it. But it's a cool idea and a great way to do your, we'll call them where I goes, but it's still a very different experience from a where I go. And again, this is something that you have to have a data connection. And one of the things we had talked about on the show is if you're doing it like around your public library, a lot of the time they have the Wi-Fi that reaches out into the courtyard, so you might be able to do an intercache there where you could use something like the Kindle Fires.
Mm-hmm.
Russ.
But no icon, it's just a puzzle icon, right?
Yeah, it just shows up as the unknown cache type. You could probably get away with doing it as a multi-cache, but that would be questionable with the reviewer. Now, going back to the reverse cache, LandMonkey says that they do have in Vancouver the cache Duino listed as a mystery cache, so if you want to look that up, is GC274MK.
And that was by K&L or Team Kiwi that we had on, was it simply last week, Daryl? We talked about hack spaces?
Yeah, and that's actually where the email came from because they were talking about that particular cache.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we've got a ton more information, but this is going to be our last one because we're already past the 40-minute mark. So we're going to have a ton for our patron show, and a lot of the stuff we're going to have to actually carry on to the next
So
the next randomized show.
This is the email show, basically.
This is the email show, which is going to happen, I'm afraid, if you have 9 weeks between randomized shows.
I blame Rat in his novella.
Oh no!
He had a decent point there. There's nothing wrong there.
Oh no, that was a great email. Okay,
no, absolutely.
But those guys emailed with one that I know both of you guys are going to want to weigh in on. So those guys said that okay, quote, I am a fairly new cacher, 314 at the time of this email, and I ran into a situation I'd like to get some opinions on. There's a deadbeat cache owner in our area, multi-account holder, who no longer is active in the game. Many of his large numbers of caches are missing, needing maintenance or in very bad shape, with many logs to back this issue. The person plays Ignis actively, and when I learned who he was, I asked about his caches. This was met with no reply. I noticed that all the archived caches under any of his names were archived out of lack of response once reviewers took note. So as many of these caches came across my path, I checked the logs, and if there were a number of DNFs, maintenance logs, or logs expressing the poor condition, I would then send a needs archive request. After about 4 or 5 of them, I got an email from the reviewer that informed me I was making the approach incorrectly, even despite there being a record of forced archives for this reason. Would you or your listeners, or I'm sorry, what would you or your listeners do in this case?
Well, I find it interesting that the reviewer basically, as you were saying, slapped his knuckles over something like that when it obviously, I mean, I know here in Chicago when when you don't want to put a needs archive because I never like putting a needs archive on there unless like the tree is gone or something along those lines, but that it's in. But if that's the case, or let me rephrase that, or if a muggle comes and says this is my property, this can't be here, blah blah blah. That being said, I usually if I want it to get archived to get noticed, I know it's not there and another person doesn't cache anymore, I will just throw a needs archive. I'm sorry, I will needs maintenance because usually that'll flag it for the reviewer. And usually if the reviewer sees a needs maintenance here in Chicago, they'll send that person an email saying, hey, what's going on here? And if he doesn't hear from them, then he gives them the token 1 month, and then it gets archived. So I'm surprised that this reviewer, who is slapping this person's wrist, is actually ignoring these needs maintenance logs that are going on. I mean, why isn't he emailing this guy and giving him his month notice and then archiving it himself? That's what I don't understand about this.
Michael, do you have anything?
Well, I guess I can't figure out. It says in kind of a follow-up that the reviewer listed the steps, procedures for a cache to be archived, and so I'm just kind of agreeing with Scott here is why the reviewer just didn't take care of it versus pushing back on the
Right.
the person who wrote this email. It seems to me like that should have been taken care of.
Oh, it was because we have that follow-up. Did you want to read that?
Sure. All right. So follow-up email, the reviewer listed the steps or procedures for a cache to be archived, which was rather lengthy in time and labor for someone to watch the cache, leaving it open for more people to try and find it and adding to the list. For me, it became aggravating enough that I will avoid the CO's caches, even more so of its multi-cache, or if it's a multi-cache. I understand that the guidelines state the cache cannot be adopted out to someone willing to care for orphan caches due to ownership, but yet it can be archived by force and left to become discarded refuse, only to be removed by a CEDO or responsible cacher who is willing to make the trip. And I guess that's what I don't understand is he's saying, you can archive it by force, so why didn't the reviewer go ahead and do that after a month?
Right. Well, and that is a question, but if you do see months worth of needs attention logs, whether it be maintenance or even notes, and I've actually, if it's just notes, I've actually gone to the link to message the owner and done that, and if I don't get a response, or if there's a bunch of maintenance logs and the reviewer hasn't taken note, I've actually emailed the reviewer a couple of times about that, but I won't put the needs maintenance logs on there unless, like Scott, you were saying, it is an obvious it needs to be archived. The location is no longer suitable or the cache is entirely missing. Sometimes I'll do that, especially if it's like, hey, the hint says it's under the lamp skirt and there's no lamp skirts.
I mean, there's also a lot of caches here in Chicago that it's the community is maintaining. The cache isn't cache anymore, but the cache has been there forever. So whenever it goes missing, somebody in the community will just drop, the cache there, like especially if it's like under a lamp skirt, but it's in a really old cache. The community will keep it going. But even that being said, like it literally would take the reviewer 2 seconds to look and see this person hasn't logged in 2 years. I mean, come on, it's not that difficult. It's all publicly available to see. And that just seems like honestly, it sounds like a lazy reviewer to me. I don't know.
Well, I don't want to go so far as to say lazy because the reviewers do have a lot to do, and it's entirely possible it just slipped through the cracks.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that.
So that's why I like to do the emails.
I agree with that. Yet the reviewer emailed back and said, "Hey, this isn't the way to go about it."
Right.
Yeah. That's what I couldn't understand either.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what that exact list is that the reviewer wanted, but it is a reviewer. It's his territory or her territory. You want to follow whatever they said it is to do. Don't go against the reviewer on this.
No, you don't want to piss off your reviewer. Absolutely
No.
By the way, I just want to say in Florida, Bo Jab, I love you, man.
You're my boy in Chicago.
You're the best.
Now, we did actually get a couple of responses in the live Q&A. Carrot Killer was the first one. Chris, did you want to read his?
Wait.
Sure.
Carrot Killer? Is that the name of the cacher?
Yep.
That's a great name. God,
Ouch.
that name sucks.
How'd you come up with your name, Scott Burks?
Right? Because I'm only creative when I get paid to be so. That's why.
Oh, well, that kind of works.
Boom!
Okay.
Mic drop. There you go. How's that?
Carrot Killer says, I use that method to clean up my area here in Statesboro, Georgia. It's a college town, and many of the missing caches were placed by college students who no longer live here. It worked for me and helped clean up all the non-existent stuff from the map.
That's the way to do it. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gotta be tough in a college town because these kids graduating. Bye bye.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that. Now, Michael, are you in the live Q&A where you can see this stuff too?
I can. I see
All right. G Slink, your new co-host, said something, so I think it's only appropriate you read it.
All right. Gary, if you're wanting to place a cache there, there we go. If you're wanting to place a cache there, you can submit a cache for that location. It won't go through, but it will bring about some attention in a more subtle way.
That's an interesting. I never really thought about it, but I don't know what the reviewer's tools look like to see if that's something where it's going to come up and say, "Oh, hey, there's this other cache here, but it's under a needs maintenance." So if so, then yeah, that's a really great response. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Good idea. Thanks, Gary. You could have brought that up on our show instead. We could have talked about that.
You still can.
So, something tells
Maybe
me...
Scott will listen to that show.
I was going to say, something tells me this is a topic that's going to show up on both the Chicago Geocacher podcast and on Cache and Release.
It's a hot topic.
It's a great topic to discuss because it really gets into a lot of the subtleties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, and obviously we don't know the whole story. There's both stories, there's both sides, and there's the truth. We don't know what's the real, what this reviewer was thinking, and what's their situation, and it's tough because they do it for free, and they do it on their own time, and you got to respect that. But like, honestly, it seems like he's telling him what to do when he could just check it out himself and throw him the month warning. I don't see why he didn't do that. Obviously, this guy doesn't cache anymore. I'm assuming looking at his last time he logged in, you could see that he doesn't cache anymore. So I don't understand.
Right, but it's entirely possible that he's had some kind of communication with that owner, and the owner is like, oh, "Okay, yeah, I'll get back to those."
Oh, come on, that's
I don't know.
Why would the guy do that? What's the point of that? I mean, why would he? What, just to be a prick? Why?
To make sure that he's locked up that space, and so no one else can place caches in his territory.
But he's clearly not even caching anymore. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
Well, and you got to figure though is how long are you going to give them as a reviewer?
Right. That's the thing. That's the thing. It should be a here's your warning. And typically, I've seen the reviewers post a reviewer's note on that page saying, okay, you have to take care of this cache within 30 days, or it will be archived.
I've never seen that. They do it on the page. I've never seen it on the page.
Whenever I've seen it, it has been on the page. They actually post a note so that it's there, it's public, and that's a great way for the reviewer to handle it, because then if someone goes back to the page and it's going to say, hey, the reviewer already knows I don't need to post this needs archived log, or I don't need to post another needs made log.
Because it's going. Yeah, right. It's on.
Yeah, it's obviously on the. Yeah, it's obviously there. It's going to get taken care of.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Before we take off, Land Monkey did actually post something in the live Q&A that I find a little bit appropriate. It says, folks, make sure you become a patron to ensure you keep quality shows coming. Next week, there should be a quality show.
Ouch.
Scott, I think your date up in Vancouver didn't really like your...
no, not at all. Ouch, that hurts. That's painful.
Ouch, yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
That's it? It's over?
That's it. We're done. We're out.
We're going to get banned, Scott.
Yeah.
Wow, I read your emails and I'm leaving. Thanks, guys.
And we do hope all of our listeners will be able to join us for the Patreon bonus show that's going to follow. Because, we didn't get through much on this show. We'll get through some on that. No, we're not going to get through much on that one either.
No.
So, cue the music, Daryl.
Yeah. So, for all our patrons, watch that special bonus show on the Patreon website with a bunch more cool topics we found. They may not be geocaching related, but they are pretty fun and cool topics. So,
and they're not emails.
Creating these special shows are one way we say thanks for keeping these shows coming for free. For those of you who are not yet patrons, we appreciate your support too. And we may get a quality show next week.
But they definitely would if you were a patron.
Yeah. There you go. Whether it's telling your friends or giving us reviews on iTunes or Stitcher, and remember that we have a drawing coming from those iTunes and Stitcher reviews. Don't forget that. But we say thank you. If you can spare a few bucks each month, though, we think we provide at least that much value to you. Consider heading over to the website and becoming a patron through the link there. Patreon has told us that there's an app coming soon to make it even easier to access all the bonus content we provide. So we look forward to checking that out and giving you even better access. And of course, we have more great shows coming.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of shows. Believe it or not, I've scheduled through show 200.
Woohoo!
A little bit of a sneak peek. Scott's going to be back for that one. But this time he has a nanny.
A nanny? No.
I think that's going to be Jesse's new nickname. She's Scott's nanny. Or should we just call her the babysitter?
Are we on episode 200? Is that what we're on?
Yep, you guys are on episode 200.
Oh, all right.
We figured you had to hit a 200 show one way or another, Scott.
Oh, nice. Well done.
But next week, for show 187, is going to be Gadget Caches 2, and of course that's WV Tim returning. I'm sure everyone's going to want to join us for that one. Then on August 6th is another randomized show. That's going to be 36, and we don't really know entirely who's going to be on for that one. We had planned a Canadian takeover, but unfortunately our Canadians are MIA for that one. They're all traveling. All of our Canadians are traveling.
Shutting down the country? What are they doing? No internet that Thursday.
I think it's actually going to be a big national holiday or something that everyone's traveling on that particular day. But it just happens to be Midwest GeoBash. Or not Midwest GeoBash, but the West Bend Cache Bash.
Right.
So, no, one of our Canadians at least is going to be there. So he might be joining us. That's
going?
the Bear.
The Bear's going to West Bend?
The Bear, yes. The Bear's going to be there.
The Bear, Saturday, 10 a.m., main stage. Come say hello.
You probably will. But he's hopefully going to be back in the hotel room with connection enough that he might show up for the randomized show. Ooh. But regardless, we're going to have a live prize yet again on that randomized show, just like we did tonight. And, we still have to pick that one. So it's actually, Gary, your co-host.
It's awesome.
It's almost incestual here. So make sure, Gary, to email me your email or your mailing address, and I'll get that coin out to you. And then I'm really excited about the next one on August 13th. That's going to be caching electronics. We've got guys from Element 14 to talk about putting electronics into your geocaches. Kind of talked a little bit about that last week, but this is going to go much more in depth into the electronics. And I'm kind of hoping, Chris, I don't know if you're as excited about it as I am, but I really want to see more electronics in geocaches because they can just be so much fun.
I do, Daryl. I that gets back to some of my education. So yeah, that excites me. Yeah. Can you tell? I'm really excited.
So excited.
Yeah. Tone it back, Chris. Bring it down a little bit.
I am so excited about this.
Just sit down, relax. Okay. For a couple weeks.
I have to put my pants on.
But yeah, that's things not only like those reverse geocaches, but that temperature sensor one where you have to change the temperature and all kinds of really cool things. So yeah, I'm going to be excited for that one. Probably a little bit more than Chris is sounding right now.
How about the next one, August 20th? How about August 20th? How about that one?
Oh my!
Benchmarking one.
Hey, hang on a second. Land Monkey is piping up here. He says, GeoGearHeads, our contests aren't fixed, but our co-host might be. I'm not sure how to take that. Okay, so now let's move on to August 20th for episode 190. We're going to be talking about benchmarking. I don't think you can get
for benchmarking.
MD Surveyor, I think, is his caching name, but I don't think you can get any more different in those two shows. We're going straight from electronics to benchmarking, which is like real old school. That we're talking like probably as old school as letterboxing, if not worse. This is stuff that was done like in the 1700s.
Yep.
So yeah, that's going to be a fun show because benchmarking can be kind of cool.
Yeah, kind of
really cool.
Yeah.
Especially if you look for those like railroad benchmarks.
Show. He's excited.
Scott, you were complaining about Ziggy caches. Wait till you go hunting for railroad markers. I'm told those things are off like 5 miles sometimes.
Why would I go hunting for railroad markers?
Because it's harder than a Ziggy cache.
No. Nay. If I can't get a smiley, I'm not going for it.
And then the last show.
I'm like a millennial. I need like that treat at the end. I need the pat on the head, good boy. I need that smiley. I'm a Gen Xer, but in that way, I'm like a millennial. I need.
It's all about the numbers, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's all the good boy. You found it, good boy. Here's a smiley and a cookie.
Sorry. And we just lost the millennials.
For the 5 listeners that are left.
Actually, we have 6 viewers right now.
Well, we know Land Monkey and Gary.
Why are you guys still watching? Oh, and we got one more now. So we're up to 7. Why are you guys still watching? You should be gone now. Anyway, our last show of August, we were never here. Mentally. Okay, so the last show of August, episode 191, is going to be Going Caching, and that's a great mega event. Scott, you got to get down there to check that one out. And, Michael, that's not too far from you. You might actually seriously look into doing that one.
Where's that at?
You didn't say
It's
where.
in Rome, Georgia.
I'm not going to Georgia. What?
No, you got to go to
You
Georgia.
can get a smiley.
This
Scott.
is an
It's okay.
awesome
Go.
event.
I can
Well,
get
you
a smiley down the street.
You get multiple smileys. Hey, and
Wait, what?
you even get trading cards with Dave DeBear.
Oh, he better give me one at West Bend. I want one of his Indiana Jones ones.
I don't know that he has them.
Oh, he better save me one. He'll be hell to pay.
All right,
Wait, so
Dave,
what is this? Is this
direct.
what is this thing in Georgia? Is it a mega?
Oh, it's a mega event. It's a multi-day mega event with
Which one?
the Going Caching.
I never heard of it.
Oh.
It's the new big event to go to.
Oh, really?
It's been a big event for a few years, and it's getting a lot more attention. It is probably the most unique and coolest mega event in North America.
Does it move every year?
No, it's always in Georgia, but it's run by basically the one family with a lot of volunteers, but it's not like a big committee. This is a bunch of guys getting creative and doing a really, really cool mega event. And we did talk with them last year, and a lot of people said, oh, we got to do this again. We really want to go to next year's. So guess what? We're going to do it. And I'm sure DeBear is going to show up again because he did last year, and he said it was really awesome.
Am I allowed to wear my wife beater Confederate flag? Can I wear that T-shirt?
No,
You won't get out alive. You're allowed to wear it.
I am.
It's a Renaissance theme. You gotta go in your.
So the Confederate flag's not going to work.
No, but you might be able to carry your sword.
Sure. And that's not a euphemism.
I thought that was
wherever I go, Daryl, it's there.
And with that, we have to mention another Land Monkey comment that he loves a train wreck.
Live.
He's watching it go down in flames.
All right, so I think that's going to do it for the live or for the next few shows. And of course, we'll update the schedule at geogearheads.com/upcoming.
Now, it's time to give you information about getting a prize from coinsandpins.com. And this will be about next week's guest. Are you ready? He originally appeared on GeoGearHeads Beta 41, back when we were using beta tape. We've since moved to VHS.
Right.
And since then, he's created a YouTube channel.
What does Beta 41 mean? We can't just throw that out there.
Yeah, Beta 41. Scott, if you listen to the show, you'd understand. So, in the body of an email,
right,
send us the name of that YouTube channel and include your geocaching.com screen name. Title the email question 187 and send it to geogearheads@cachemaniacs.com. That must be received by July 29th, 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, or 9 p.m. for Daryl in the Eastern Time Zone. 8 p.m. for Scott in Central. And, if you're over in the UK, like maybe Mark is, that'd actually be 2 a.m. on the 30th.
Sleeping.
Wake up,
Yeah,
Mark.
exactly.
Does anybody have his number? Let's call him up live on the air.
That's a great idea.
This isn't the Chicago Geocacher. We can't
Call
do
him up,
that.
Daryl.
Now, again, that's the YouTube channel name, your screen name on geocaching.com, emailed to geogearheads@cachemaniacs.com with the title, Question 187, for your chance to win a prize from coinsandpins.com.
Check the Cachemaniacs website at cachemaniacs.com for more on the GeoGearHeads, including show notes for this and all of our episodes. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us feedback by calling 206-350-3647, by emailing geogearheads@cachemaniacs.com, or through social media. Your support helps keep the Cachemaniacs shows coming. Please consider becoming a patron through the link on our website to support the Cachemaniacs shows. GeoGearHeads is produced by Chris Savanaro and Daryl Wanberg. This show is copyright 2015 by Daryl Wanberg, all rights reserved.